The number one thing that has the greatest impact on guaranteeing happiness for any human on the planet is the ability to live your life in alignment with who you truly are. In order to do that, you have to actually know who you truly are. So, as it says in the bold red, you have to know yourself. So, and the deeper and the more clarity you can have on that topic, the greater your ability to choose the things that you should be doing in your life if you want to be happy, and also identify the things you should stay away from unless you want to be miserable. So, what does it actually mean to know yourself? Well, to understand that, let's get familiar with this diagram on the left here. Across the top are a list of attributes, traits, etc., abilities that I have, Ben Chandler, that makes up who I really am. And what we're talking about there is my identity. What is my identity? So across there, we have, things like my values, which are our triggers for enjoyment, the strengths, the things I'm naturally good at that I do really easily, character traits, personality traits, etc. That makes up my identity and tells me about who I am. Down the left-hand side of the diagram are a list of activities that I've done in my life, some of which made me extremely happy and fulfilled and content, and others that were kind of promised or suggested would make me happy, but actually made me quite miserable, which was very confusing at the time. So what this diagram actually does is compares the activities to my identity, so we can understand what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing if I want to guarantee happiness in my life. So there's a color code there. If red appears when we compare the activity to my identity, red is bad. Red aligns poorly, and if red shows up, I should run from that as fast and as far as I can. That is for someone else, that job. If blue appears, that's really good. That means that the activity has aligned really well with my identity, and I should do that as often as I can if I want to guarantee myself to feel happy, fulfilled, and content. So what you'll notice down the bottom 5 there's a lot of red in those things. So those activities down the bottom there are, for me, a recipe for misery. And I say there's no such thing as a bad job or a bad activity. It's just the way the activity lines up with a person's identity. You'll notice in there mining and teaching. If you get a good job and you work hard, life will be great. So they should have perhaps suggested, made me feel good. But they're, for me, a recipe for misery because they don't line up with my values. And there's, a lot of me that's not being experienced when I do those. So let's leave them behind and move up the scale to surfing and kite surfing, where there's, now some dark blue, which, means that very enjoyable for me. And they're the things that I do regularly as hobbies. What you'll notice is there's a big chunk of white in each of those, which means they can never be fulfilling to me because there's big parts of me not being experienced when I do those activities. So they just remain as hobbies. How do we go then from something that's enjoyable to enjoyable and fulfilling, like the top two are for me, coaching and farming? So all it means is we have to find those things where all of us, all parts of our identity are experienced when we do those activities. And it's coaching for me, and farming's not far behind. So they're fulfilling because so much of me is being experienced when I do those activities that I feel full. So again, the more detail you have in who you are, the greater your ability to understand the things that you should be doing in life and the things that you should avoid unless you would like to be miserable. If you would like to know more about this, have a look in the comments section. There's a link there to my Facebook group where I share more details about this stuff quite regularly. Click on the link, join the group, and I'll see you on the inside.